That was intense. Well, okay. Welcome to our podcast. This is The Dark and the Strange, and we'd like to say hi to everyone for tuning in. I'm Paul, and this is.
Hey, I'm Tara.
Okay, so if you don't know what we're talking about this week, and the first clip didn't give you any idea of what we're talking about, well, we're going to be talking about the Banshee. So, if there's anyone tuned in at the moment that has basically any Irish heritage or who's from Ireland, they'll know from the clip straight away and the beautiful wailing noise what exactly the Banshee is. Anybody that doesn't know, stay with us and we'll do our best to explain it. Can't guarantee you'll know exactly everything about the Banshee by the time we finish the podcast, but I'm hoping to cover most bases. What is the Banshee? Well, the Banshee is a supernatural being, I guess, that's very pertinent to Irish mythology and folklore. Often depicted as a very old woman combing her long silver hair, or other accounts and witnesses have stated that it's a very beautiful woman in a red dress with long red hair. So, look, from that depiction, it depends on the witnesses that have actually seen the Banshee for themselves. But what we can all agree on, and I think that everybody will totally say the same thing here, and that is, if you hear the Banshee, then you or a member of your family is definitely about to die. So that's the one thing, there's the general consensus that's all about. That if you hear the Banshee, it's all about the impending death of someone that's close to you or you yourself. So basically, the Banshee, or Banshee, as it's called in Ireland, which is the Irish name up here. It originates from Irish folklore. And the Banshee itself, the Irish word, means a woman of the fairy mound or a fairy woman. And she's associated mainly with the Irish families that have O in the middle of their name or Mac at the beginning of their surname. And basically, with O, it would be someone like O'Brien and O'Neill.
Let me ask this question before you start talking about the Banshee.
Yep.
How old were you when you found out about the Banshee?
Oh, probably about 5 or 6.
Right. And was that like a family taught thing?
Yeah, so basically everyone, when you're a kid, is told about the Banshee, whether it's from your family or whether it's friends or whomever, you're all kind of told about the Banshee yeah.
So it's like one of those sort of like folklores, like as you were growing up and your parents were like, this might happen to you, and then it kind of like scares the shit out of you and gives you PTSD for the rest of your life.
It certainly impacts in your life, that's for sure. Whether it's negative or positive, it's hard to know, but you certainly take it under address. And the Banshee, when it's talked about, or if somebody hears the wailing of a Banshee and they bring that up in conversation, it certainly instills some fear into your heart, that's for sure.
Well, I would say that it impacted your life because here you are doing a podcast about the dark and strange. But
absolutely.
So when you were a kid and this was sort of, explained to you, was it just literally in reference to like people dying, or was it more like a bedtime story?
Oh, no. It was very much synonymous with death. And people talking about, especially older people. I remember a next door neighbor talking about her hearing the Banshee and basically saying that she had heard it a couple of times throughout her life, and each time she had heard it, somebody had died in her family. Um, Look, she owned a lot of cats as well.
It was probably just a cat wailing.
So it could have been the cats wailing. And from memory, they wailed most nights. So on the law of averages, if they wail every night, you're going to eventually have someone that dies that you know in your family. So, I mean, chances are that, yeah, on the law of averages.
Right. So, starting from scratch, explain to me exactly what the hell it is, what it's meant to do, or is it almost like a curse thing, or is it like a warning thing? Like, I can't kind of tell here.
Oh, yeah. So basically, the Banshee, as I said, is associated with certain families, and those families being the O'Briens, the O'Neills, anyone with an O in the middle of the name, and also with a Mac at the start of their middle name. The reason being is because a lot of these families are, you know, dating back to the 8th century and stuff, and they are synonymous with having the Banshee. I don't know if you would call it like a curse, but the Banshee is very much associated with these old traditional families.
Well, it doesn't sound like a guardian angel. So,
Well, I mean,
the guardian
we,
angel of death.
yeah, like it's not necessarily an angel of death in the sense that we have that impression that the angel of death comes and that person that that person dies and the angel of death takes that person.
Mhm.
The Banshee is more so a harborer, a person that warns you that impending death is coming. So when I talk about this, it's very much Irish folklore and very much part of, I guess, growing up in Ireland that you're told about stuff like this. So yeah, it's certainly been around a long time.
Well, you sound lucky. I have to admit, my childhood didn't really involve much folk stories or even ghost stories or anything like that because, growing up in Australia, we don't have such a long history to talk about things. The only thing that ever scared me as a child was my brother, and I'm sure he would attest to that. And, there was like a long period of my life as a child where I couldn't go to the toilet in the middle of the night because my brother scared the living hell out of me and told me that if I went to the toilet in the middle of the night that something would come up and grab me. So I used to like literally turn all the lights on and then go to the bathroom and then literally run back to my room like an idiot.
Well, I guess that happens to a lot of kids with brothers that are creeps.
Rude.
Creeps. But that's what a big brother does. So yeah. The Banshee itself, I mean, that whole tradition and folklore has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, very much synonymous with the ancient rituals of when people died in Ireland in the 8th century and moving forward. Lots of women used to let down their hair and wail and use a comb, combing their hair to deal with the grief of a loved one dying. So it's very synonymous with that tradition. The reason why the Banshee combs her hair, the reason why she's wailing, it's all very much an emotional depiction of death in times gone by in Ireland.
Women still do that to this day. Usually not because someone's died though. Usually just because their boyfriend's probably broken up with them. But very much I can identify with that needing to comb my hair and wail at times. I think it's very relieving.
It certainly was a tradition. I don't think it's very much pertinent with today as times have changed and stuff like that. But it's certainly it certainly seems to be the foundation of where the Banshee originated and where what it is today. Also, I think that from the perspective of bringing it through to modern society, the film Darby O'Gill and the Little People from 1959 was certainly instrumental in that. Do you know the movie?
No, I don't know that movie. 1959. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, but that movie that was filmed by Disney at the time, that was very accustomed in Irish folklore, especially with the likes of, leprechauns and all about gold, the fairy gold and the wishes, and then the story, where it brought in the Banshee and what the Banshee did and stuff like that. And at the time, it very much opened up that avenue of understanding for especially the Americans to understand that part of Irish folklore, because that probably would have been very much hidden until then. I mean, obviously, with the immigration of Irish people to America in the 1840s, associated with famine and so forth and so on, that unless you were Irish or had Irish heritage, you didn't really know what the Banshee was all about. And then, obviously, in '59, when that movie was made and released, then I guess, the American public and worldwide, people then understood, what the Banshee was and what it was all about. So at the time, it was like groundbreaking special effects, but obviously nowadays when you look at it, it's not really up there. However, for Sean Connery, it was kind of his breakout movie. He did some singing in it and stuff like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's not actually too bad, to be honest. He's a Scottish actor, I should say, and he was portraying an Irishman in that movie. All in all, it's a really feel-good kind of a movie, and I think if you did watch it, you'd actually enjoy it, believe it or believe it not. So
Sounds like such a feel-good movie.
it's actually not the worst movie ever. And
No, that would be Presents.
and yeah, it would be, and certainly beats those movies that you watch, Tara. No, no offense, none taken. That was the response.
We have to
you should have said there with none taken, but you didn't.
We have to do a whole episode on the Presents one day, just for shits and gigs, because God, that was.
That's okay. I'm happy to do that podcast, but I won't be here for that podcast. I will.
Why? You're so opinionated on it.
No, I can't. I would have to have a large quantity of alcohol to even start to discuss that topic. So, yeah. Well, moving forward anyway.
Well, here's a question.
Yeah, sure.
It kind of reminds me a little bit like death moths. You know how people used to say if you see one of those big death moths, that someone that you know is going to die as well? Are you familiar with the death moths?
No.
I have to get a photo up and put it up there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like those big ass black moths, and they're just, it's just one of those things. It's a foreboding thing. If you see one, then someone is going to die. I can't believe you don't know that.
I'm relieved I don't, personally speaking.
Okay. So, the whole time you were talking and explaining about the Banshee, right? Have you seen the movie Darkness Falls?
No.
You're not familiar with it at all?
At all.
Okay. So there's this little horror film that I saw, I don't know, like 20 years ago, okay? And it's called Darkness Falls. And it is actually, I guess the best way to describe it, it's about an evil tooth fairy, right? So, and it was like this whole curse thing on this town. And essentially, when the eldest child lost his last tooth or whatever it was, she used to come and grab the kid and kill them or whatever, right? But the character, the thing that's in the movie Darkness Falls kind of really reminds me, and I'll have to get a photo. She screeches, like absolutely just screeches when she like flies through the air to like pick up these people, and that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like, but it's such a good little movie, a real hidden gem. Like,
Oh, you mean that photo there? Is that the one you're talking about?
this photo here, yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. I don't know what that was about. Anyway.
But yeah, brilliant little film. And yeah, she just it's actually, you know, when I watched it when I was in my teens, like it has a little bit of a scary thing. The whole wailing thing, the screeching, when women screech, it's a bit scary. Not that
Okay.
not that women screech at me that often. Do they screech at you that often, Paul?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm hard of hearing, so
From all the women previously screeching at you.
from old age, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
So, sorry about that. Tara just went on one of her tangents.
Yeah, I like going on a tangent.
It does, yeah.
Well, it basically and it also sounds a lot like, you know, what sirens are. You know, mermaid
Yes.
sirens. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of what it reminds me of. Except, you know, they're just actually wanting to kill you and seduce you and then kill you.
Okay. Anyway, back to the podcast. So another part of media that was really important with understanding the Banshee was the Late Late Show. Believe it or believe it not. So Irish viewers, you'll know what the Late Late Show was. It was a prestigious chat show that we had in the late 70s or 80s, 90s on in Ireland. It's been
Are
a
you
while.
sure?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident it is. But when I'm talking about it in 86, it would have been Gay Byrne. So anyone that was growing up in that era knew exactly who Gay Byrne was. Brilliant presenter. And I spent many Friday nights is when it was on, watching the Gay Byrne talk show. And what was always a memory for me was when I was young watching the Toy Show a couple of weeks before Christmas. And I hope that stirs up some memories for the viewers, especially Irish viewers, because every family in Ireland gathered around the TV to watch these toy shows, and they were amazing. So on the actual, it was a talk show basically in Ireland, and the toy show, they had on like hundreds and hundreds of toys, and Gay Byrne went through it with, you know, people that were there showing off the different toys.
Like children's toys, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well,
So they talked about, you know, the different toys, how good they were, and then everybody went out and bought them. So there was singing on it and Christmas carols. It was a real kind of a good family-friendly show. So, yeah, really enjoyed that when it was on, and it kind of bonded everyone together, and people talked about it for weeks after, and yeah, it was one of those really nice Irish memories. So in '86 they had a professor on that discussed actually the Banshee, and some audience members that were there at the time gave their accounts of hearing the Banshee and then stating that someone had died, which was really interesting because at the time in the 80s, Ireland was still predominantly a very Catholic country. So having a chat show that talked about the supernatural, which the Banshee is classed as, that was very, you know, breakout for Irish society at that time. And I mean, a lot of people would have been shocked and like dismayed that here on Irish media that we would have a this famous chat show talk about something that was supernatural. I mean, yeah, it was, I won't say it was a scandal, but it was a very, very much talked about and hot topic at the time. And I actually had a quick look at that program a little while back, and it was amazing at the time. I mean, nowadays you wouldn't bat an eyelid, based on what you can watch on social media and stuff. But back then, it was incredibly progressive. So, yeah, amazing stuff. It was amazing stuff. And really, anyone that didn't know back then in Ireland about the Banshee was very much informed. I mean, what you need to understand, the Late Late Show was the highest rated show on RTE, which is the Irish network, Radio Telefishéireann. And basically, everybody watched it that had a TV set at the time. Yeah, just lots of memories. So that did a really good job, that broadcast from that chat show, about informing people about the Banshee, and yeah, really progressive. And that was awesome.
It's kind of bringing up vibes like, and I know you did watch this semi recently because it only came out this year, was Late Night with the Devil?
No.
Yes.
Well, if I say no, that's probably
I know, because we talked about it. No, it's the horror movie, and it's set on the soundstage where they do the Halloween special, and it's the talk show guy, and he brings on the the little girl who's apparently like possessed or whatever it was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
Okay, you
now
just remembered.
Now I actually remember what you're talking
I
about.
feel like I literally just saw your brain just like working there. It's like coming through the files. Oh yeah, that movie that we watched this year. Yeah, brilliant. Also brilliant film. Very different on the horror movie spectrum, but very enjoyable. But that's the vibe I'm going for. Like, everyone wants to sit down and watch this specific special talk show. I wouldn't know, because really I was born in 1990, so that just it was pretty much when that stuff was starting to die down. MTV was big.
So for any of the viewers that find Tara irritating at times, please put a like. Because I will.
Is that how we get likes?
Yeah, that's how we got likes. Anybody that finds her irritating, please put a like on, or leave a comment. At this stage, I just turned down my hearing aid, and it's so much easier. So, I mean, I guess the most important question towards the end of the podcast is, well, is the Banshee real? It's a good question. Many people ask it. I guess if you were asking science, they would be like, no. How can it be real? It's a mythical character. It's Irish folklore. It's certainly, it's all anecdotal evidence that she exists. They put it down to the whole trauma, emotional aspect of someone dying, the wind, cats, psychological, a number of issues, and it can be explained away and so forth and so on. So I guess from science, that aspect, they would say, obviously, no, doesn't exist. However, culturally and emotionally, for many Irish people, especially in Ireland, she's very real and part of their heritage and personal experience. So from that perspective, I would say yes. I would say many people in Ireland would believe that the Banshee is real, and they've heard the Banshee and seen the Banshee, and it's very much part of the Irish culture that the Banshee exists.
Is she real to you, Paul? Maybe the red dress, red-haired one, maybe?
Look, at the end of the day, you have a choice. You can take the red pill or the blue pill. And I'll leave it at that.
I like to take both.
Okay. Awesome. That's wonderful, Tara.
I feel like that girl on the Mexican ad. Why not do both?
Yeah.
I'm having a great time. That's
well, that's it. As long as you're having a great time, that's great. And I'm hoping the viewers have a great time too. I doubt it, but look. I'm
learning. I didn't know. I don't know anything about Irish heritage, honestly. Like, So this is definitely like a learning curve for me. And now I'm going to have to go watch a movie from the 1950s. So
1959, Tara.
yeah.
Let's be precise about
Well,
this.
it's still that's the 1950s, isn't it, Paul?
Well, the Pacific time is 1959.
So now I have to go watch this old ass movie just so I can get some good feels. But at least Disney made it. So, but Sean Connery,
Yeah,
hard
so
sell.
so basically, yeah, look, if anybody is interested, I mean, have a look at the movie. Not sure where it streams nowadays. When I watched it, it was VHS, so that's a while ago. That's truly saying how old, number one, I am, and how long ago it is since I actually watched the movie. But I'm sure there's viewers out there that'll recollect with what I'm saying, and yeah.
Well, I'll have a look later. If I can find it streaming somewhere, I'll put up the streaming service that you can watch it on if you feel so inclined to watch this very interesting feel-good movie.
Or just go down memory lane.
Or if you are more like me and you think that Darkness Falls might be a good option, I'll also put that up because it's actually a really good film. So
Yeah, at this stage, I wish Darkness would fall, to be honest. That's how I personally feel. But look, it is what it is. Other than that, I think we're mostly finished with our subject this week. I hope that anyone that didn't know what the Banshee was about has a better understanding of what the Banshee is and how it's associated with Irish tradition. And yeah, let's hope you don't hear the Banshee. That's really important. Tara?
I didn't really have too much of a takeaway. I mean, obviously, I don't want to hear the Banshee either, but I mean, I'm a female, so I'm really used to a lot of women wailing all the time. So, especially myself, and if anyone's met my mum, love you, mum. But Paul, thank you for taking us on that deep dive through Irish culture.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it was a joy to go through it, and it was especially relevant to me
Yes,
growing up in Ireland.
for anyone that can't tell, it is a joy to Paul, and there is just joy radiating off him right now.
Yes, absolutely. And at times, being around Tara is very much like the Banshee and listening to the wailing. And after a period of time, you do die inside. But yeah. That's life.
You're so encouraging.
That's life,
it.
and that's how I deal with it. Yeah. Anyway, just like to finally leave you with the fact that, you know, the next time you do hear a cry in the middle of the night, just listen closely, and it might just be the Banshee. So from me, I'd like to say goodbye and thank you for listening to our podcast about the Banshee. And thank you for putting up with Tara for this period of time. Tara?
I mean, you're most welcome, Paul. I know you really enjoy putting up with me. Yeah, till next time, guys. I hope you like listening to our backward and forward shit. But that was great. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Tara. Bye.